Indiana Newsdesk is made possible in part by Smithville Fiber, the Gigacity Company, fiber internet, HD, and digital IPTV in Southern Indiana. More information at smithville.com. Mallard Grodner Attorneys, providing legal services to clients and the community. Understanding, expertise, results. Bloomington and Indianapolis, lawmg.com. The IU School of Education, preparing teachers, scholars, and administrators to improve teaching in Indiana and around the world. education.indiana.edu. IU Alumni Association, connecting IU's network of alumni and sharing the Indiana spirit through scholarships, advocacy, and volunteerism. alumni.iu.edu. IU Center for Rural Engagement, extending IU Bloomington resources to improve Hoosier lives in partnership with communities and organizations. rural.indiana.edu. And by WTIU members. Thank you.
Coming up on Indiana Newsdesk. International student enrollment has been on the rise for years in Indiana and across the country, but that's changing.
This past year was the first year, I believe since 2006, that we've seen a decline in international student enrollment.
Ahead, what the decline could mean for schools and their students. And a new program at Purdue University is helping young scientists launch their own experiments. Plus, Indiana scientists are working on innovative ways to diagnose prostate cancer.
My husband had prostate cancer, so this touches me in a very personal way. And as much as we can help, we would love to be a part of that.
Those stories, plus the latest news headlines from across the state, right now on Indiana Newsdesk. Welcome to Indiana Newsdesk. I'm Joe Wren. Universities across the country are experiencing dips in number of international students studying at their institutions. It's led to speculations about what could be causing the drops, but as Lindsay Wright reports, leaders say regardless, the trend needs to be reversed.
As you drive down this main strip in Terre Haute, American flags line the street as far as the eye can see. But several weeks ago, dozens of other national flags took flight alongside them, here at Center City Apartments.
Saudi Arabia is there. We have a lot of students from Saudi Arabia living here in the building.
Mike Ellis owns the complex, where nearly all 33 units are rented out by international students studying at Indiana State University.
I felt like by flying the flags of the various nations where many of the students come from, that it was sending a message to those students that we not only want them here, but we are welcoming to them being here. It's not a matter of tolerating it, it's a matter of wanting them and welcoming them.
Ellis says his message is in response to what he describes as unwelcoming language directed at people coming to the U.S. from other countries. It's something state education leaders believe could be contributing to a decrease in international students studying here. According to an analysis of U.S. Department of Homeland Security data, international enrollment dropped by about 4% between 2016 and 2017 nationwide. Indiana's numbers are following a similar trend. ISU's international student enrollment has dropped to just over 600 students compared to more than 900 in 2015. And Indiana University's numbers, which have been growing steadily for the last decade, are also taking a turn.
This past year was the first year, I believe since 2006, that we've seen a decline in international student enrollment.
It's something that IU student Adlin Iskandar Zulkarnain is worried about. She's the president of the Malaysian Student Association. The number of members in the association dropped from 100 last semester to less than 50 this fall.
That is quite concerning for us because we still want to keep our student association going, but if we didn't receive any new students, that's a problem.
Earlier this year, IU President Michael McRobbie issued a scathing letter calling the trend tremendously problematic. He points to a number of factors, including anti-immigration sentiments. It's something Wilkerson says international students are absorbing more through American politics.
I was in Rome the night of the election and was doing a presentation at an American international school the next day. And it was the first time in 14 years of doing this work that I was asked by a student if Indiana was a red state or a blue state.
Wilkerson says other factors include increased global competition, some places offering clearer paths to citizenship or residency, and safety concerns.
When we consider those factors alongside rising costs of higher education in the United States, there's a leveling that's happening, I think, in terms of global influences upon student migration and seeing students ask the question of return on investment.
Purdue is one university where international enrollment remains stable. In fact, the institution is in the top 10 in the country for enrollment. International Programs Dean Michael Brzezinski says it's a point of pride for the school. Although he says rhetoric probably has turned some away, he says Purdue has worked hard to embrace international students on campus, and the benefits are wide-reaching.
There's not a job out there nowadays that doesn't require some aspect of that, what I'm going to just call intercultural competency. What better way to train people for that than to have that microcosm of the world here on our campus?
Not to mention, international students in 2016 contributed $1 billion to the state. Although Wilkerson says a number of factors are to fault for the changes in enrollment, IU refuses to take the wait-and-see approach.
Being proactively engaging with students, making sure that we are sharing with them the message of the community, doing that in a way that is candid and accurate and consistent.
And Ellis says he's hoping to start a conversation in his community. He's encouraging residents to reach out if they want to see their flag flying, even if it means wrapping his whole building.
I don't care where they're from. I don't care if they're black or brown or white or red or yellow. Everyone should be welcome in this country, and I can assure you, from my perspective, they are.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Lindsay Wright.
IU Board of Trustees recently approved a new $17.5 million International Student Center that will be located in the heart of campus. Wilkerson says it will enhance the university's commitment to international learning. Construction is expected to start next spring. Now for headlines, Lindsay Wright joins us. She has the latest on this week's top stories.
Hey, Joe, thanks. Law enforcement officials say they've made an arrest in a string of church vandalisms that happened last year in Brown County and Bartholomew County. At least half a dozen churches were vandalized across both counties. Sheriff's deputies arrested Renzo Signorio of Columbus on charges of burglary, theft, and criminal mischief. Charges against a juvenile are also pending. The Brown County Sheriff says the juvenile is the same person suspected of vandalism at a Carmel synagogue in July. President Donald Trump is visiting Indiana next week as part of Republican efforts to unseat Senator Joe Donnelly. Trump last visited the state in May. Trump will hold a rally Thursday in Evansville. He's expected to discuss the economy and stress his support for Donnelly's Republican challenger, businessman Mike Braun. The race between Braun and Donnelly is being called one of the most competitive in the nation. The Bloomington Board of Zoning Appeals approved a zoning violation appeal request from one local drug treatment center, but it denied two other appeals from the Indiana Center for Recovery. Board members say the difference between the approval of the appeal for Bloomington Transitions and the denial came down to whether the facilities offered on-site housing for those in recovery.
The fact that there was a residential component to the first two cases that we heard, that there were actually two businesses that were acting in tandem, and one really wouldn't exist in the same way without the other part of it.
Clapper says the Recovery Center can come back to the BZA for a hearing as a conditional use facility, or they can appeal the decision in court. State and local groups working to address opioid addiction have a new tool. The state developed a heat map that updates each time emergency responders administer the opioid overdose antidote naloxone. The online map illustrates locational patterns and overdoses. Experts say often when talking about opioids, the focus is on overdose deaths.
It highlights lives saved. The vast majority of time when EMS responds and naloxone is given, it's in the effort to save a life, and most of the time they're successful at doing that.
The map was tested through a pilot program with 5 cities, including Indianapolis and Columbus. Now the data is available for state agencies, faith-based organizations, or even grassroots community groups to combat the opioid epidemic. More Indiana teaching licenses are being issued, but it's still not enough to offset the state's teacher shortage. Superintendent of Public Instruction Jennifer McCormick says the state has seen a 20% increase in new teaching licenses since she took office, but roughly a third of the licenses issued in 2017 were emergency permits. Those are one-year teaching credentials given to qualified non-licensed individuals. New rules from the Environmental Protection Agency give states the power to set their own goals for greenhouse gas emissions from coal-fired power plants. The Affordable Clean Energy Rule replaces the Obama-era Clean Power Plan.
But it's not clear that EPA is setting a minimum here. They're putting out a list of technologies and saying to the states, you pick the ones that are best and we'll review that.
The new rule is likely to make coal-fired power plants more efficient. Experts say more efficient plants often run longer, and that could be a game changer for Indiana utilities that are planning to shutter their coal plants.
Now they can go back and revisit and determine if the coal plant running into the future is more economical and in the best interest of the ratepayer.
Environmentalists are concerned that if the country's coal plants become more efficient, then utilities will use the energy from coal more often, sending more harmful pollutants into the air. Indiana's Chamber of Commerce is planning a secret anti-union event. The seminar is geared towards teaching companies how to avoid unions organizing their workforce. The Chamber says it won't release details, including the location, until 24 hours prior to the event. The Chamber says it's an effort to prevent any disruptions at the event. Several Indiana sports organizations are partnering with the state to launch a sports technology initiative. Governor Eric Holcomb says the Techstars Entrepreneurship Initiative is a perfect fit with the Indianapolis sports reputation.
That's what it's all about. It's about converting ideas into action and then taking both to the market. And we're going to be able to see that happen right here on Hoosier soil and right here in the capital.
The Techstars Indy team will recruit companies to develop popular areas in sports such as fan participation, player safety, ticketing, merchandising, and athlete wellness. The program kicks off at the Indy 500 in May next year. An annual Purdue University study shows Indiana farmland values are increasing. That could be bad news because it will lead to higher property taxes. Farmers are already struggling from the impact of international tariffs. There's less demand for their crops, and analysts predict it will likely get worse. A superintendent from Brownstown has been selected to lead the Paoli School Corporation. Greg Walker's first day is October 1st. The school board approved Walker's 3-year contract last week. His annual salary is $108,000. Former Superintendent Casey Brewster resigned last July amid accusations that he was incompetent in the areas of academic progress and financial management. A new high-tech education facility is opening in Jennings County. The Muscatatuck Cyber Academy is joint effort between the Indiana Adjutant General's Office and Ivy Tech Community College in Columbus. The academy will be the center of cyber initiatives for the Indiana National Guard. It will train students in both offensive and defensive cyber strategies, including hands-on demonstrations of cyber attacks in real-world scenarios. Students will receive an accelerated 2-year degree over an 11-month period. And Joe, I don't know what a lot of that means, but wow. It sounds very cool. The technology sounds pretty incredible.
And the governor was there and really calls it an important asset for Indiana, especially nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Lindsay.
You're welcome.
Coming up next on Indiana Newsdesk, we talk to scientists who are using dogs' keen sense of smell to make prostate exams quicker, easier, and more accurate. And a look at bike share programs, why they are catching on in some Indiana cities, but not others. These stories and more right here on Indiana Newsdesk.
The WTIU WFIU news team connects Indiana to the world. We bring you the top news of the day on radio, TV, and online. We round up the stories that have people talking each week and dig deep into the issues that affect your community the most. The WTIU WFIU news team is where you are and telling your story.
In a time of change, where can you find in-depth reporting and thoughtful analysis? Washington Week on PBS. Join moderator Robert Costa.
When I was at the Capitol this week, I encountered the same.
And a panel of award-winning journalists.
You're seeing a divided nation, and you're seeing.
For insights and perspective.
Tonight there was a key development in the
Senate. You won't find anywhere else.
What a week.
Washington Week.
Welcome back to Indiana Newsdesk. Prostate cancer is the third most common type of cancer in the United States, but the test that helps determine a diagnosis can be invasive and imprecise. As Barbara Brosier reports, Indiana researchers are working on a study that can make a prostate cancer diagnosis as easy as taking a pregnancy test.
Rex Sly and his wife make a trip to the Richard Raudebush VA Medical Center in Indianapolis about twice a year. They come here a lot less than they used to.
For 2 years, I came here at least every 3 months.
Sly had bladder cancer and credits doctors here with saving his life. But there's another health risk that's still on his mind, especially because of his age: prostate cancer.
It's very prominent in men.
If you live to be 90 years old, you have an 80% chance of having prostate cancer in your prostate at that time. So it's basically the only risk factor for prostate cancer is birthdays. If you have enough birthdays, you're going to get prostate cancer.
The most common screening for prostate cancer is called the prostate-specific antigen, or PSA test. But professional organizations disagree about who should get the test, and the results, while useful, don't give a full picture of what's happening.
It is a good screening tool in the sense that it does tell us something's going on, but it doesn't actually tell us what's going on. Inflammation, irritation, growth of the prostate, and prostate cancer all make PSA.
Gardner says the hospital often has to do additional testing and biopsies to figure out whether a patient is suffering from prostate cancer or something else. And the PSA test can give false negative or false positive results, sometimes leading to unnecessary procedures.
If we can just find the people that have the important cancers and just treat them, we can minimize all those side effects.
Gardner is part of a research team working to do just that, develop a more reliable, less invasive way to detect prostate cancer. And you might be surprised to find what they've come up with.
Zoe. Check.
Jennifer Kate specializes in training service dogs for medical purposes.
So they can't use visual cues to find where the sample is, and so they can only use their nose.
She's working with Indiana University and the VA on the prostate cancer project. Her role is to train dogs like this one to sniff out the unique smell of prostate cancer in patient urine samples.
The trick as a trainer is to make a particular smell really stand out for the dog. So we're going to pair a smell with food, with really, really good treats so the dog gets excited about it. And then we're going to train the dog that whenever he smells that, he's going to produce a particular behavior.
When a dog detects the scent of prostate cancer, it hovers over the can to alert the trainer. Then Kate rewards the animal with a treat. For her, the project is especially meaningful.
I'm very hopeful that this is going to help. My husband had prostate cancer, so this touches me in a very personal way.
But having dogs sniff through thousands of samples is impossible. That's where these machines come in. Samples come to this lab at Indiana University, Purdue University, Indianapolis. They're inserted into the machine, which analyzes the molecules in each sample to determine what compounds it's made of. Essentially, it's mimicking what the dogs do, trying to detect the specific compound found when someone has prostate cancer.
If technology can help by learning from nature, and if you can combine those two, I think there could be a better solution than what we have right now.
The hope is that by isolating the specific compounds found in prostate cancer, scientists can develop a better test for patients. Rather than sending samples off to a lab, the results could be determined at the doctor's office.
The plan is to develop a non-invasive test strip, like a pregnancy test that men can take to tell if they have prostate cancer or not.
But getting to that phase of the project will likely take several more years and additional funding. Gardner says it will be worth the wait. He's been doing medical research for 25 years and says this study has the greatest ability to move the medical field forward.
This is why you do medical research, because we could help hundreds to hundreds of thousands of men that have in their families and everyone else that hold their loved ones by kind of figuring out how to do this better.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Barbara Brozier.
A number of Indiana cities offer bike share programs. For a fee, you can rent a bike for a short period of time. The programs offer an alternative to driving while promoting a healthy lifestyle. The concept is something a lot of people get excited about. But as Brock Turner reports, finding a way to fund it can be a challenge.
Dick Boyce is a frequent user of the Columbus Bike Share program. He helped start the city's program back in 2016 and serves as its executive director. Someone interested in renting a bike can reserve it on their smartphone or pick it up right from a station. It's easy to use, but it's struggling to catch on. The city has adjusted its pricing model. Rather than paying $8 to have a bike for the whole day, renters can now pay by the hour. Boyce says more people are using the bikes, but they're spending less time on them, so that means the program is bringing in even less money. Bike shares across the country are facing similar struggles. The upfront costs of a bike share program are significant. A single station can cost as much as $500,000.
I know of no bike share program that I am aware of in the United States that actually makes any money.
However, a newly formed bike share in Bloomington might have struck the right balance. The city's program uses a dockless system, meaning that users don't have to return their bikes to a station. They can literally park the bike wherever there's a public bike rack. The city says that the bikes have already been checked out more than 4,000 times so far this month.
So dockless bike share programs have really changed the bike share system. Previously, with all station-based systems where you go to a station, punch in the things, check out a bike, take it around, and check it back into a station.
Bloomington's costs have also been minimal. The company Zaxter pays for the bikes and the maintenance, and they hope to expand. College towns across the country, not just Bloomington, have shown to be good matches for the bike share programs.
Ridership has been increasing since it launched on June 21st. So obviously in the summer, almost half of our population of the community is gone, but we still saw pretty good use of the program.
Despite not having a large college student population or a dockless system, Boyce remains confident.
We're finding more and more that the easier we make getting on the bike and going from point A to point B, the more of those individuals that we're going to have.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Brock Turner.
A new program at Purdue University aims to help young scientists everywhere run their own experiments in zero gravity. As Taylor Haggerty reports, the new Launch Box program began with a simple question: could fireflies light up in space?
Maggie Samudio's students at Cumberland Elementary are used to making headlines. For 4 years, second graders in her class urged lawmakers to name the Say's firefly as Indiana's state insect. And this year, after a visit from Governor Eric Holcomb and a trip to the Indiana State House, they succeeded. But that's not the only project the class has been working on. During a lesson about the solar system and space travel, Samudio posed a question to her classroom. Could fireflies light up in space?
So I asked the students that question, and we just kind of looked at each other like, well, we don't know. So I said, I know someone I can ask.
Samudio got in touch with Dr. Stephen Collicott, a professor of aeronautics and astronautics at Purdue University. And to her surprise, he said,
I told them, well, let's build an experiment. Let's not guess, let's build an experiment and test it.
With the help of members of Purdue's Aeronautics and Astronautics program, the Cumberland students designed a metal box that could fit in a commercial zero-gravity aircraft. Instead of sending real fireflies into space, they set up some syringes full of the same chemicals that make fireflies glow and a mechanism to combine them when the aircraft hit the right altitude. They raised the money to send the box into zero gravity, and in December, it launched. The experiment worked. The mixture lit up. Now, Professor Collicott is offering the metal boxes, called launch boxes, to teachers, school groups, and even families who want to run their own experiments. Applicants will get the metal canister and guidelines to 3D print the plastic end caps.
The purpose of the box is just to remove this really boring, mundane speed bump from the teacher's duties of how do you build a box just the right size. This lets the teachers focus on the science.
Collicott says schools will be responsible for funding the ticket to send the boxes into zero gravity and creating the experiments, unless they can team up with a local university. Samudio says for her students, all of the effort and money they put in was worth it.
If I hadn't taken that leap, and I always take that leap, I mean, the kids would have missed out on so much.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Taylor Haggerty.
That's the end of this program, but our work continues online as we cover the news throughout the week at WTIUnews.org. Have a great weekend.
Indiana Newsdesk is made possible in part by Smithville Fiber, the Gigacity Company, fiber internet, HD, and digital IPTV in Southern Indiana. More information at smithville.com. Maller Grodner Attorneys, providing legal services to clients and the community. Understanding, expertise, results. Bloomington and Indianapolis, lawmg.com. The IU School of Education, preparing teachers, scholars, and administrators to improve teaching in Indiana and around the world. education.indiana.edu. IU Alumni Association, connecting IU's network of alumni and sharing the Indiana spirit through scholarships, advocacy, and volunteerism. alumni.iu.edu. IU Center for Rural Engagement, extending IU Bloomington resources to improve Hoosier lives in partnership with communities and organizations. rural.indiana.edu. And by WTIU members. Thank you.